Nayna, Hope Fashion.
Yeah.
Tell me, it's a collection of garments, but specifically for a particular woman?
We've set it up saying that this is a brand specifically talking to a 40 plus woman, definitely. Doesn't mean nobody under 40 can wear it, but that's where we've pitched it.
It's so refreshing because there's very little that's really focused on older women, and I think we want to be in that position where we still feel great, look great,
Yeah.
not kind of
Absolutely.
trying to take
Yeah.
on an image that maybe a younger woman would use. How is it structured?
Well, we talk about Hope being a collection of garments that are fairly relaxed in shape, and are designed specifically to be put together in a very easy way, to make women ultimately feel beautifully confident. That's what we
And
say.
isn't that what we all want?
But that's certainly what we felt we wanted.
Yeah, no, well, it's what I'd like.
But we also, the team that work with me on this, there are 6 founder members of the team. Between us, we have over 200 years experience in the industry.
That's quite impressive, isn't it?
We represent, it just shows how old we are. It shows.
You're not meant to say that.
We represent every discipline that was required to put a brand together. And our average age is 54. So I often say we understand this woman because we are this woman.
Yeah.
Which means, I guess, that we've approached it quite differently, taking, I guess, advantage of that 200 years experience. So there are a number of things that we wanted to do in doing this. So we agreed we wanted to put the story at the heart of Hope.
Right.
Every great brand has a great story, and this isn't something we've made up. It's completely integral, it's what we do, and it felt right to do that. We wanted a different approach to sizing.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, because it is different, and the starting point is I absolutely wanted this collection to fit across as a bigger range of women's sizes as possible.
Okay.
So
is that quite hard?
Yes. We definitely wanted to cater for an 8 to a 20 as a minimum, because it was about making sure that we could...
That's really inclusive, isn't it?
Well, some brands don't go beyond the 14,
no, I know.
and lots don't go beyond the 16.
And that's quite intimidating, actually.
Completely.
If you are a bit larger and curvier,
Yeah.
to feel that you're cut out of that brand is really quite...
So that was, for me, the inclusivity was really important. And because of the nature of our fabric, our garments and shapes, I guess in my view, I don't think we'll ever be a kind of suited and booted, structured brand. I think it's very much about relaxed pieces. And therefore, it gave us the opportunity to do the sizing differently. And so 90% of our collection just comes in 3 sizes. We have something called a free size, which fits an 8 to a 20. So my rib shrug that I'm wearing today is one of those.
That's pretty clever, isn't it?
We also then do what we call a dual curvy, which is a 16 to 20.
Yeah.
And we do a dual slim, which is 8 to 14. And as I said, because of the pattern and the cut of the garments, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rocket science. Lots of brands do dual sizes, but generally they refer to them as small, medium, large and extra large. And my starting point is, show me a woman who's happy to be called an extra large, really. So when we say to this woman, you're a super curvy in our brands,
which has got such a really nice feel about it. I think I'd be quite happy to be super curvy.
Well, I had an email from a customer recently who just, I love what you're doing. She said, but honestly, I'm a 22 to 24. She said, will you ever go up and do a bigger size? And she said, because you could just call it triple curvy. And that was a customer coming back to us and saying, don't call me an XXL, but I'm happy to be called a triple curvy. So that's really simple. And the other thing about that for me, Tracy, is that when women try our clothes on, largely there's just 2 sizes. There isn't this because the size in the end becomes a number. It is just a number, and it becomes a really emotional piece then as to, well, I'm not going to try that on because it's got a number and I don't like.
I think also if you know that you're a size 16 or 18, and somebody a size 8 can still wear the same garment, but you can wear it with confidence and look great. I mean, that's one barrier you've already broken down, haven't you?
So that sizing was really important to us, so our approach is quite different. We also talk a lot about garment shapes and the importance of proportion. And as somebody who's 5 foot nothing, I always knew there were days when I just appeared to look taller, and then days when I just appeared to look shorter and fatter. And it took me a while to realise that it was all about proportion. And there's a fantastic quote that we came across by Coco Chanel, which was, "Fashion is architecture. It's all about proportion." And once you understand that principle, it really will change the way in which you'll put your garments together. So in real terms, what that means is that you really should be dressing in what we call a series of thirds. So a 1/3 and a 2/3, or a 2/3 and a 1/3.
So that's actually the same principle as photography, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So in fact, when you're looking at someone, you're doing the same as the camera's doing, really capturing that image.
And actually, when you go back to it, it goes back to a really ancient way of thinking called the divine proportion. And if anybody has done any kind of qualification in design or art, they're so familiar with it. But for lots of women, they just don't know that core principle, but it can make a huge difference to how
really fascinating.
So that is at the heart of, so Gary, our designer, again, everything he draws, he does in proportion, and we call it the Hope Code. Okay. So that's the third thing. Sourcing was the next one. We were passionate about how we did this, and my team that I work with, they've done lots of sourcing all over the world, and when I said to them, I want this out of the UK, there was a number of kind of gulps and is she serious? and then the only other place we went to, or we go to, is Italy. And the reason that came about is that we went up to one of the best cashmere yarn providers in the world, up in Hoyk in Scotland. And they were showing us some of their developments for the forthcoming season, and we kind of said, oh, this has got a lovely handle, this particular yarn. And he said, oh yeah, he said, we've got some viscose that we've got from Italy. You just go, oh right, okay, so you're going to Italy for some things to blend with your cashmere to give it a better movement and drape. So we just said, hang on a second, maybe we should widen our net a bit. And we knew it was going to be we knew it was going to be tough to do it entirely out of the UK. So I'm delighted to say that we only source out of the UK and Italy.
That's fantastic. That's really good.
And that, again, kind of just really adds to our quality credentials, I guess. And then the last thing is how we choose to sell. So we are clearly an online business. And what I felt, and it came back to the research that I did when I took my year out, was when you look at where this woman likes shopping, this kind of 55 plus, 50 plus woman, obviously your top two are your big high street names like Marks and Spencer and Debenhams, but the place she also likes to shop is independent stores. And I think part of the reason for that is that it's about this idea of not having everybody wearing the same jumper you're wearing. But probably more importantly, it's about the personal service that you can get in these stores. And what came back to us when I was putting the concept together was, is there any way you could do this, Nayna, but sell to women on a personal level and actually provide some style advice, some guidance? And we call that social selling, and that's what we do. The ambition is to have a national network of stylists that will be embraced. They'll buy into Hope, they'll buy a kit, they'll be trained by us, and then they take Hope out into their community.
Well, it's a model that's working beautifully in the beauty industry.
Absolutely.
My showcase are doing it fantastically.
That's right, yeah.
And I think also what you're doing is you're then giving women the opportunity to be independent, to work for themselves,
mini entrepreneurs,
to meet other women, because that's the thing for me, starting Fighting 50, in my 50s, changed my life so much that I got to meet, well, like you, I'm sitting here today having a chat to you, learning about something that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
I would never have had that opportunity otherwise. And I think that's what you're doing, is giving women an opportunity to work with, obviously, a great brand and some great products, but meet other women. And I just think, certainly in your 50s, supporting other women is so important.
It's absolutely, and I have to say, it's one of the joys for me personally, apart from the brand and what we're trying to do, is what you realise when you kind of come down to a local level as opposed to a corporate level, is that there are so many like-minded women out there, and there is this real sense of wanting to help each other. And as I said, community is the best word I can use to describe it. And that's rewarding in both ways. You know, you give and you receive.
Nayna, I think Hope is just one of the most exciting brands I've heard about for a long time. So we are going to have a look at some of the garments, have a look at one of our other videos, and you'll see us talking about some of the key pieces in Hope's lineup. Nayna, thank you so much.
Thank you.